A Flood and Disaster Operation and Insurance Guide. Chapter 1. Deal with an emergency, flood, or disaster. Floods and disasters. 1. The golden rule of disaster survival is to stay calm. A disaster could be a flood, earthquake, forest fire, hurricane, or tornado. Regardless of what it is, the action is the same. The bottom line is be prepared. Decide whether to evacuate and plan an evacuate route. Have an alternative route just in case. Do what you can to your house to protect it, whether it be nailing plywood over the windows or sandbagging the perimeter to prevent flood waters from breaking through. You can't fight or underestimate nature. The sooner you accept that, the better off you'll be. If you think you can make it across a swift-moving river, don't tempt fate. Do your best, and beyond that, the only thing you can do is move. The golden rule is to plan ahead. Discuss ideas with your family, then prepare an emergency plan. Post the plan where everyone will see it, like on the refrigerator or bulletin board. Discuss with children the dangers of fire, severe weather, earthquakes, and other emergencies. Discuss how to respond to each disaster that could occur. Discuss what to do about power outages and personal injuries. Draw a floor plan of your home. Mark 2 escape routes from each room. You may need to evacuate quickly. You should be ready to get out fast. Develop an escape plan by drawing a floor plan of your residence. Using a black or blue pen, show the location of doors, windows, stairways, and large furniture. Indicate the location of emergency supplies, disaster supplies kit, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, collapsible ladders, first aid kits, and utility shut-off points. Next, use a colored pen to draw a broken line charting at least 2 escape routes from each room. Finally, mark a place outside of the home where household members should meet in case of fire. Be sure to include important points outside, such as garages, patios, stairways, elevators, driveways, and porches. If your home has more than 2 floors, use an additional sheet of paper. Practice emergency evacuation drills with all household members at least 2 times each year. In a disaster, ordinary items in the home can cause injury and damage. Anything that can move, fall, break, or cause a fire is a potential hazard. Repair defective electrical wiring and leaky gas connections. Fasten shelves securely. Place large, heavy objects on lower shelves. Hang pictures and minors away from beds. Brace overhead light fixtures. Secure the water heater. Snap it to wall studs. Repair cracks in ceilings or foundations. Store weed killers, pesticides, and flammable products away from heat sources. Place oily polishing rags or waste in covered metal cans. Clean and repair chimneys, flue pipes, vent connectors, and gas vents. Learn how to turn off the water, gas, and electricity at main switches. Post emergency telephone numbers near telephones. Teach children how and when to call 911, police and fire. Instruct household members to listen to the radio for emergency information. Pick one out-of-state and one local friend or relative for family members to call if separated by disaster. It is often easier to call out of state than within the affected area. Teach children how to make long-distance telephone calls. Pick 2 meeting places, a place near your home in case of a fire and a place outside your neighborhood in case you cannot return home after a disaster. Take a basic first aid and CPR class. Keep family records in a water and fire-proof container. Floods and disasters. 2. Assemble supplies you might need in an evacuation. Store them in an easy-to-carry container such as a backpack or duffel bag. Prepare a disaster supply kit made up of the following. At least 3 gallons of water. Food and a can opener. Prescription medication. Radio with batteries. Flashlight. Extra blankets and sleeping bag. Protective clothing, good shoes. Extra set of car keys. Pet food. A change of clothing, rain gear, and sturdy shoes. A first aid kit and prescription medications. An extra pair of glasses. A battery-powered radio. Credit cards and cash. A list of family physicians. A list of important family information, the style and serial number of medical devices such as pacemakers. Special items for infants, elderly or disabled family members. If you need to evacuate, listen to a battery-powered radio for the location of emergency shelters. Follow instructions of local officials. Wear protective clothing and sturdy shoes. Take your disaster supplies kit. Lock your house. Use travel routes specified by local officials. If you have time, shut off water, gas, and electricity, if instructed to do so. Let others know when you left and where you are going. Make arrangements for pets. Animals may not be allowed in public shelters. For additional information about how to prepare for hazards in your community, contact your local emergency management or civil defense office and American Red Cross chapter. Find out which disasters could occur in your area. Ask how to prepare for each disaster. Ask how you would be warned of an emergency. Learn your community's evacuation routes. Ask about special assistance for elderly or disabled persons. Ask your workplace about emergency plans. Learn about emergency plans for your children's school or daycare center. Keep the car gassed up. Pay attention to changing weather conditions. Keep a map nearby to follow storm movements. Have a shelter area ready like in the basement for a hurricane or on the second floor with boat in case of flood. Appoint an out-of-town contact to go to in case you all get separated. In case of earthquake, get under a sturdy table, doorway, or go outdoors. Don't light matches indoors in case of a gas leak. Check for damaged gas or electric lines. Be prepared for aftershocks. Don't use the telephone unless absolutely necessary. Lines will probably be jammed. Stay away from windows and chimneys which could break. Beware of power lines. In case of tornado or hurricane warning, bring all outdoor, unmounted furniture, garbage cans, etc. inside. Tape or board up windows. Leave if you can. Watch out for quick flooding. When you drive afterwards, beware that roads could collapse. Don't underestimate the power of a moving river. No man can fight the current no matter how strong. Make sure sewage lines are intact before using the toilet. Clean up debris, especially any danger spots. Stay away from windows. Protect all valuables in a waterproof box. Either put them out of danger or bury them in a solid metal box. If in a mobile home, get out. They're flimsy at best. Do not go near any downed power lines. Report any damaged water, electric, or sewer lines. Obey the authorities. Assume the tap water is contaminated. Don't drink it until the authorities say that it's safe. Stay away from disaster areas. You could go and try to help people, but for your safety perhaps it's better left to the experts. Stay off the roads after the disaster. Make sure the building is fairly solid before you enter it. Prepare an inventory of all your property for insurance purposes. Videotape it if you have a camcorder. Read your insurance policy carefully before you file your claim. It'll be easier to file if you have a complete inventory of your property such as serial numbers, photographs, or videotapes. In case of flood, move to higher ground. Watch out for live-downed power lines. Don't try to drive across a river. Don't walk through flowing water. Do not drive through a flooded area. Stay away from power lines and electrical wires. Turn off your electricity when you return home. Watch for animals and snakes hiding in your house. Look before you step. Be alert for gas leaks. Carbon monoxide exhaust kills. Clean everything that got wet. Take care of yourself. Prepare an emergency car kit. Battery-powered radio and extra batteries. Flashlight and extra batteries. Blanket. Booster cables. Fire extinguisher, 5 pounds, ABC type. First aid kit and manual. Bottled water and non-perishable high-energy foods such as granola bars, raisins, and peanut butter. Maps. Shovel. Tire repair kit and pump. Flares. Money matters in disaster emergency. usa.gov/citizens/topics/family-issues/vital-docs.html, replacing your vital documents. Advice and links to the organizations and agencies you need to contact. aicpa.org/inte rest areas/personal financial planning/resources/consumer content/disaster financial issues/pages/default.aspx, disaster financial issues. Emergency/disaster resources. Books about disasters are at number 363.1238-1400 or QV200 and TL553 at the library. nws.noaa.gov/O,301-713-0006, Office of Hydrology, tracks floods. redcross.org, contact your local office and ask about free booklets dealing with disaster preparation. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. USACI.gov. Free booklets about dealing with floods. archerns.com/rmsg/default.hdm, survival. avalanche.org/phone number, phone numbers. casara.ca, Civil Air Search and Rescue Canada. cdc.gov/nceh/emergency. disaster.net. disastercenter.com. epa.gov/earns, emergency response notification system. eqe.com/publications, earthquakes. esusda.gov/disasters. fema.gov/hazards/earthquakes/equakes. fema.gov/hazards/floods/floodf. fema.gov/hazards/hurricanes/what's hooldido. fema.gov/hazards/tornadoes/tornadof. srl.org, survival. survival-center.com/first aid. thepiccenter.com. totalsurvivalcanada.com. uscg.mil/hq/g-o/g-opr/SAR, 202-267-2229, U.S. Coast Guard Search and Rescue Database. usgs.gov, Geological Survey. usgs.gov, 800-525-7848, Earthquake Information Center. who.ch/program/AHA, emergency and humanitarian action. worstcasescenario.com, how to deal with disasters. Disaster relief from the government. A disaster could be anything like a flood, fire, tornado, hurricane, etc. There is assistance for homeowners and citizens in these cases. The main agency is Federal Disaster Assistance Administration. HUD. Washington, D.C. 20410. HUD.gov. Ask for the Programs Guide. Some of the programs are Food Stamps by the USDA, USDA.gov. Temporary, Free Housing. Unemployment and Reemployment Assistance. Legal Services. Temporary Mortgage Payments. Debris Removal. Grants and Low-Interest Loans. Special Tax Breaks. Free Livestock Food for Farmers. Aid to communities like medical, essential services, property tax compensation. If you're a farmer, contact the Farmers Home Administration, FHA.gov, for information. If you're a business owner, contact the Small Business Administration, SBA.gov. Contact the Department of Agriculture, USDA.gov, Red Cross, redcross.org, and religious organizations for additional aid. Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA.com. FEMA.com/kids. Federal Emergency Management Agency Publications. POB 70274. Washington, D.C. 20024. 800-480-2520. FEMA.gov/library. Free booklets. In Time of Emergency, A Citizen's Handbook. Emergency Preparedness Guide. Repairing Your Flooded Home. Federal Emergency Management Agency. 500 C St. S.W. Washington, D.C. 20472. 202-646-2500. 800-462-4029. 800-638-1821. FEMA.gov. Help in case of disaster like flooding. Federal Emergency Management Agency. 800-358-9616. FEMA.gov. To order maps of flood-prone areas. Federal Emergency Management Agency Helpline. 800-525-0321. 800-462-9029. FEMA.gov. U.S. Fire Administration. Federal Emergency Management Agency. NESI. 16825 South Seaton Avenue. Emmitsburg, Maryland 21727. 301-447-1080. 202-646-2449. usfa.fema.gov. FEMA Regional Offices. J.W. McCormick Poach. Number 442. Boston, Massachusetts 02109. 617-223-9561. CT, Me, Ma, NH, RI, VT. 26 Federal Plaza. Number 1337. NYC 10278. 212-225-7202. New Jersey, New York, PR, 6. Liberty SQ. Building. 2nd FL. 105 South 7th ST. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19106. 215-931-5750. TE, DC, MD, PA, VA, WV. 1371 Peachtree ST Northeast. Number 700. Atlanta, Georgia 30309. 404-853-4400. AL, FL, GA, KY, MS, NC, SC, TN. 175W Jackson. 4th FL. Chicago, Illinois 60604. 312-408-5533. IL, N, Me, MN, O, WI. 206 Federal Regional Center. 800 North Loop 288. Denton, Texas 76201. 817-898-5127. AR, Law, NM, OK, TX. 911 Walnut ST. Number 200. KC, Missouri 64106. 816-283-7002. IA, KS, MO, NE. Denver Regional Center. Number 710, Box 2526. Denver, Colorado 80225. 303-235-4830. CO, MT, ND, SD, UT, WY. Building 105. Presidio of San Francisco. SF, California 94129-1250. 415-923-7176. Federal Regional Center. 130 228th ST Southwest. Bothell, Washington 98021. 206-487-4682. Chapter 2. Flood, Earthquake, and Disaster Insurance. Disaster and Insurance. Prepare an inventory of all your property for insurance purposes. Videotape it. Read your insurance policy carefully before you file your claim. It will be easier to file if you have a complete inventory of your property, including serial numbers, photographs, or videotapes. Flood insurance info. Avoiding areas that are prone to floods can save you $400 or so a year for flood insurance. Homeowners insurance does not cover flood-related damage. If you buy a house in a flood-prone area, you will have to buy a flood insurance policy too. The federal government has a flood insurance program. National Flood Insurance Program. 500C St. S.W. Washington, D.C. 20472. 888 Call Flood. 888 FLOOD 73. 888-356-6313. 800-638-6620. 888-379-9531. 800-427-5593, TDD. Floodalert.fema.gov. fema.gov/NFIP. Floodsmart.gov. Floodsmart.gov/floodsmart, compare flood insurance costs. Earthquake insurance info. Usually only big companies can afford to sell earthquake insurance because if an earthquake happens only they have the money to pay off all claims, so don't buy earthquake insurance from small companies if you can get it all, because they won't sell it in some areas. Earthquake insurance generally has a high deductible of 10 to 15% of damages. California has the California Earthquake Authority where you can buy earthquake insurance. The policy has a 15% deductible and will only give you several $1,000s to get back on your feet if an earthquake occurs. BuyQuakeInsurance.com. EarthquakeAuthority.com, California Earthquake Authority. eHow.com, how to buy earthquake insurance in California. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/earthquake_insurance. iii.org/media/hot topics/insurance/earthquake. unitedpolicyholders.org/buying tips/tip_buy_eq.html